come back. In previous lecture, we have learned about what changes we have made to our Terraform manifest to support the Terraform workspaces demo we have learned. So now we are going to create resources in default workspaces using step 3. Okay, so before creating the resources, we need to understand something called what is a default workspace. Okay, every initialized working directory has at least one workspace. Okay, if you haven't created other workspaces inside that initializing directory, it is a workspace name, default will be present inside that. Okay, so for a given working directory, only one workspace can be selected at any point of time. So this is a very important note, and even this one also. For a given working directory, only one workspace can be selected at any point of time. And another important thing is, most Terraform commands, including provisioning, which is nothing but Terraform apply, Terraform destroy, and also state manipulation commands, only interact with the currently selected workspace. So these two are very important points from workspaces perspective. So now let's go ahead and then practically implement the stuff. So let's go to our working directory. So we'll go to 08 Terraform workspaces, and we'll go to v1 local backend, and then here we'll see c1, c2, c3, c4, c5, c6, and apache install.sh. Okay, now I will say Terraform init, initialize the working directory, which will download the .terraform folder it will create, and then download the provider information, and also will create the log file for us. Okay, so now let's say Terraform workspace list command. So it will list the workspaces available for us, and also it will put the star for the current selected workspace. So we have only one default workspace, and which is also selected here, which is nothing but you can see the star. So output current workspace using show. So you can also say Terraform workspace show. So it says that default workspace. So Terraform workspace list will display all the workspaces present, and Terraform workspaces show will show you the current workspace it is selected. Okay, so now you will run the Terraform plan. Okay, so I will say Terraform plan. Very important observation we are going to review now. So once we run the Terraform plan, what should happen? If you remember in the EC2 instance, right? So if you see, it is going to add 4 resources. Okay, what are those 4 resources? Okay, the first things first here is 2 security groups. We know that. Okay, by default we are creating 2 security groups, so 2 resources will be added. Now in the entire whole thing, there are no other resources other than one EC2 resource. Okay, so 2 plus 1, 3 only it should happen, but it is showing 4 resources. So what's happening here, right? So what is happening is, you have written a logic here saying that count is equal to, count equals means like terraform.workspace equal to default, which means if my workspace is default, create 2 instances. If not, create 1 instance. So with that said, so now you are operating in the Terraform default workspace, it should create 2 EC2 instances for us. So if you go up here, so we'll go here, you can see AWS is instance dot my EC2 VM of 1. This is 1 EC2 instance. Okay, and if you go top, there will be 0 with 0 also. See, 2 EC2 instances. So 2 EC2 instances plus 2 security groups, totally it became 4 resources, whatever you are seeing here, 4 to add. So that's good. So that's what one thing we need to observe. Okay, and because we are creating this in default workspace. Now one more thing you want to observe is, if you remember the outputs advanced concept when we use the count, right? So we have used the star here, which means it will display the list of public DNS for the multiple instances it is going to create. So let's also see that in the Terraform outputs. So EC2 instance public IP, there is a list, so that you will get 2 informations, 2 public IPs of your 2 instances, whatever it is getting created, EC2 instances, and 2 public DNSs. So this star, whatever you made it, made a difference for you to provide the list of public IPs for the EC2 instances it is getting created using count. Okay, so multiple instances using the single resource. So that's about it. Now we'll move to the next step of Terraform apply auto approve. Okay, so let me paste this and let it get created. So once it creates, so we'll be able to verify some more observations we'll see in a detailed manner. So we can see it here. Our EC2 instances got created and it displayed the public IPs for both EC2 instances and also public DNS for both EC2 instances in a list format. So let's go to our AWS management console and refresh the stuff. Okay, so you can see here the names, the name of the EC2 instance also VM-default-0 and then VM-default-1. That is what we have defined in our configuration also. Let's go here. So VM-workspace name -count.index. So it created VM-default-0 and then VM-default-1. Okay, and then those are getting created. Okay, so now we have created the instances. Now let's also verify the security groups also, hyphen with the default, they should be get created. Okay, so let's go here and then go to security groups, right? And you should see VM SSH default and VPC SSH default and then VPC web default. That is good. And also you have verified the outputs also. So here another observation I have listed is observe the outputs on the CLI. You should see list of public IP and then public DNS. So this completes the creating resources in the default workspace and then understanding about Terraform workspace list and then Terraform workspace show commands, and also how Terraform.workspace this thing worked for us with equivalent to default, how you are going to use, means like both popular usages of your Terraform.workspace related thing, how you are going to use it, you have learned it. Okay, so one is for naming and tagging behavior and another one is for referencing the current workspace is used for the changing behavior based on workspace. Okay, so both you have tested now in the step 3. In our next lecture, we'll focus on creating a new workspace and then provisioning the infra and also cleaning up the same thing once everything is completed. So I'll see you in the next lecture. Until then, bye bye. Thank you.